What's up everyone, my name is Brian, and in this video I'll be taking a look at Windows Vista 64-bit Home Premium. Ooh, better than Home Basic, I think. This video was requested on my Windows XP Home Edition video from, wow, just over 6 years ago. And the person who requested it, well, first of all, the request came just 4 days ago from this person, and he asked to do Vista RTM, which is the version that gets released to manufacturers. So this version I will be testing is the RTM edition, and it will not have any service packs or anything like that. So here are the settings of the virtual machine in case anybody's interested. So I will be going through the install process. I'll be skipping some of it so that you don't have to watch all of it, but we can go through the entire thing together. Don't know how long this video is going to be or really what exactly I will be covering and in what order. So again, first off, we will be doing the installation process. And about 30 seconds after I finished speaking, we are loading the installer. I will say that I bought Vista on day one, retail, and installed it on a single core gateway computer that had like 1 gig of RAM. Even then, I felt like it performed decently well, and I really enjoyed Vista overall. Obviously, a lot of people complained about it, but again, I liked it quite a bit. So here we go, install now. Identical installer to pretty much everything we have these days. I'm going to skip the product key. Not interested in activating it. Whoops, did I hit the wrong button? No, I don't. So yes, I did hit the wrong button. So we will select Home Premium. That is the version that I had purchased. Yeah, practically the exact same installation experience as Windows 8, Windows 10, and Windows 11. This video is being done on Windows 11, by the way. It was a clean install that I did a little over a month ago, once it was released and available as an ISO straight from Microsoft. Now we are doing the rest of the installation process, and I'll come back when it's closer to finished. Closer to finishing is what I meant to say. When using a supported virtual machine, VMware does ask you to install Vmware Tools so you get better video performance, mouse movement, and other features. I will be sure to install that later. Forgot to mention this at the start, but as you can tell by the title of the window, this is being run inside of VMware Workstation Player, which is their freeware software for virtual machines. It's perfect for playing around with virtual machines like this, not really doing anything too serious. For that, you'll probably want the standalone VMware Workstation or some other software, maybe even VirtualBox, but I've had pretty good luck with VMware Workstation Player over the years, just installing various operating systems, playing around with them for a while, and then getting rid of them. Alright, Windows needs to restart to continue, so now it should be restarting from the virtual hard disk rather than the ISO file. Also, while I'm waiting and trying to think of things to say, this is the first video I've done in several months, so hopefully this is an interesting video to come back to for those who still happen to be subscribed. Here we are back in the installer, completing the installation. Actually can't wait to get to the desktop because, again, I very much enjoyed Windows Vista even on a low-end machine. I loved the way it looks. I like the Aero glass features, the new Windows key plus tab application switcher, and some other stuff, so we'll get to that when it finishes installing. Microsoft has definitely made installing Windows in subsequent operating systems a lot easier and even faster than some of these older versions. For example, I can install Windows 10, a clean install, onto a new PC in 6 or 7 minutes, and that's from loading the installer to being at the desktop. So completing installation, this is taking a little bit longer than it would on newer operating systems. Even in a virtual machine, I believe Windows 10 will install noticeably faster than what we have here now. Some other behind the scenes tidbits: I am using the built-in NVIDIA recorder, previously known as Shadowplay, to record the video portion of this. And since my monitor is 2560 by 1440, that is the resolution of this video. I could have used dynamic super resolution to create 3840 by 2160 so that it's in Ultra HD video, but I didn't think of doing that until after I started recording this video, so 1440p is the max it will be. Alrighty, so the virtual machine is restarting for now the second time. So here we are, choose a username and picture. I will type in VM space as the password and the hint because this is all a temporary setup. I'll be using the default computer name and wallpaper. I really loved this selection of wallpapers, especially the default arrow one. Very nice wallpaper. Pretty sure Windows Update isn't going to work for Vista anymore either. I am in Central Time and it is actually 8:50 the evening of Thanksgiving. I will set this to home because it's technically a private location. And we'll hit start. And now is when I will install VMware Tools. And by now, I mean whenever it actually takes me to the desktop. Oh yes, Windows is doing a performance check. This had Windows SAT. I forgot exactly what this variant of SAT stands for, but it basically gives your PC a performance score with a maximum rating of 5.9 across several different areas like memory speed, graphics performance, and some others. I can actually hear the fans in my PC ramping up as it seems to be doing that. On the processor side of things, so it'll be curious as to what it will be in the virtual machine. It's probably, even in a VM, 5.9 across the board. A more secure environment. Spend less time fixing problems and enjoy a faster, more reliable online experience with Windows Vista. Ooh. What's next? Getting it done just got more fun. That one went away pretty quickly, so I think we are speeding through the performance check. And I found that the sounds in Windows Vista were very enjoyable. That's one thing I don't like about Windows 11. The sounds, they seem so brief to where it's almost like they were cut off and interrupted. Not a fan of the sounds in Windows 11. So here we are. First thing I want to do is change the resolution and possibly the DPI. I don't remember how Windows Vista handles high DPI screens because I didn't use this back then. So the VM maxes out at 2048 by 1536. I am going to install the tools, which is here. Then I will bring up the disk drive and install them. Allow. Oh my goodness. So I have to use Windows 7 Service Pack 1. So this VMware did not include the correct download for Windows Vista. So I'm now going to go on the internet and search for the most compatible version. It took several minutes before I found an older version of VMware Tools that will install. I didn't actually install it yet, but it didn't give me any error about a service pack. I went through quite a few versions before going all the way down to 10.0.0. Since that was a little bit too older, I started going back up again to newer versions and found 10.2.5. That works. So let's go ahead and install VMware Tools this time. In the meantime, let's go to System Properties and see what our Windows Experience Index, that's what it's called. So everything is 5.9 except for graphics and gaming graphics, likely because this is just using the default Microsoft software-based driver. There we go. We will do a custom install just to see what else is here. So it should install everything that is needed to make this a little bit more like a native OS. And it is done, so let's go ahead and do a restart. Alrighty, so that sounded a lot cleaner. The first time it played, it was a bit choppy. Login was very fast, and now we are using the VMware graphics driver. So let's go, oh, mouse is silky smooth. Let's go ahead and try to bring up the resolution. 2560 by 1440, there we go. And then let's go ahead and hit yes and switch this to full screen. Here we are, a native, almost, Windows Vista-like experience. There's got to be high DPI settings somewhere. I think. Let's try a Windows search. DPI? Oh, here we go. Adjust font size, DPI. All right, large scale 120 DPI. This change will take effect after a restart. Let's restart now and try this again. All right, here we are back at the desktop after that restart, and I think it's better. I don't remember what it looked like before, but the scaling overall seems pretty solid. It's about what I would expect for this resolution on my particular screen. So let's go back to the Welcome Center, I think it was. Or not. Did it freeze or what's going on? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's bring up the Task Manager and just kind of take a look around. So it's not like Windows 10 or Windows 11 where it has your Ethernet controllers, your additional storage drives. We are using about 1.5 gigs of VRAM, which is pretty decent. Coming from Windows XP though, this is a bit more of a RAM hog. Don't know why the Windows Welcome Center won't come up, but looks like our LAN is connected, so we can get online if we wanted to with Internet Explorer. In fact, let's try that real quick. I don't know which redirect link this is going for, but let's open google.com in a separate tab and see what it does. And for fun, let's see what version of Internet Explorer this is. Internet Explorer 7. Update versions 0. Let's continue to this website and see if it at least gives us something. Here we go. So their little animation works. We'll come back to that in a little while. I'd still like to know why Windows Welcome Center won't open. But for now, let's go back to the system properties and, oh, that's not loading either. I wonder what is going on. Because I need to go and do another Windows Experience Index test before I can activate Windows Arrow. Because as you can see, the title bar of the window is not as it should be. So none of those context menus are opening. Let me do one more restart and then I'll come back. Back after another restart, let's see if anything loads this time. Windows Welcome Center, nothing. My computer opens, system properties doesn't work. Not entirely sure what's going on. I can't even bring up the personalize menu or any of those options. Instead, let's try and go to the control panel. That doesn't work. Switching to classic view doesn't work either. Not sure what's happening. This didn't happen until I changed the DPI, or at least the resolution, which I can't change because I can't bring up those menus anymore. Well, let's try to take a look at what we can. So Windows Vista included the Windows Sidebar, which is where you can add various widgets like the photo gallery, RSS reader, a clock, as well as some other ones, which I will try to pull up now. Looks like it oh, there we go. So we've got CPU meter, weather. We'll stick with those for now. Weather service is unavailable. Here we can see our CPU usage and our RAM usage. Oh, look at that. The RSS reader still works. The dates are set to Saturday, December 30th, so that's not accurate anymore. But, interesting. Still kind of works. So, since the task view switcher won't work because we need to do a Windows Experience Index test again. Actually, there is a way you can do it through the command prompt, but that is a little bit more work. But let's just take a look around. So here's what an Explorer window looks like. I love the colors. I love the iconography. It just felt very modern coming from Windows XP. And to me, even compared to today, I just love the way it looks. The little icons, the gradients that are used here and there. To me, it's just very pleasant to look at. I'm a big fan of the Windows 11 UI as well. Let's take a look at the game browser. So this is where you can actually add your individual games and kind of use this as a centralized hub for all of your games. I can't do the index again, but here we are at some of the default games that come installed with Windows Vista. So Minesweeper is not loading. Maybe it's because we don't meet the minimum rating. I don't remember. But none of these seem to load. Oh, Inkball loaded. Oh wow, look at that. Let's try this out. So you just have to kind of draw your border and have the balls go into the hole. And I will leave it right there. So that's the game browser. We can browse our sample photos. We can see what the slideshow app looks like. Here we are. We can make a movie with Windows Movie Maker. That loaded pretty quickly, but it didn't pre-populate this with anything from the folders, so that's kind of unfortunate. You can fix photos by cropping them, adjust the, we'll do an auto adjust and see what it does. Okay, that kind of made it a little bit cooler in terms of tone, I think. We can open this in Paint. Here's what Paint looks like back in the day. Nowadays, the tools are all along the top in addition to the color picker. Let's do an actual slideshow. Kind of scroll through here. Are there transitions that we have? Nope, no transition options, just hard cuts between them. Let's go to the, I already looked at the documents folder. Let's look at the music folder and see what sample music we have. Let's open one of these inside of Windows Media Player and see what Windows Media Player looks like. We'll just uncheck those. Sure, add a shortcut to the desktop and make it the default player. This is Windows Media Player 11. Here's one of the visualizers. We can take a look at the ones that we have here. Not as many as Windows XP, I believe. Info Center View, Bing. You must change your privacy settings in Tools and then Options. Let's do that real quick. Privacy settings. So I probably should have left that checked. Let's go there and then back here. Actually, let's open Windows Media Player again and then try it. Oh, feature unavailable. Does the library still work? Oh, that's obviously my library. Let's go to the Bing option. Oh no, Microsoft retired the Online Media Center Service Listing Program. Let's search in Bing on the web browser and see what it does. We'll turn on the automatic phishing filter. And yes, display non-secure items because we like to live dangerously. Totally legal free music streaming. All right, so here's what Bing looks like in Internet Explorer 7. And that's pretty much it with Windows Media Player. Let's close that window and go to, don't really need to search for anything at the moment. Control panel, I don't know what's going on. It worked fine and for a little bit. Let's see, what else do we have here? We can lock the PC, but we've already seen what the lock screen looks like. Let's go to Windows Media Center. This was, I think, a default addition to Windows Home Premium. So this was nice if you had your computer plugged into a TV or if you just wanted a nice remote control friendly experience for browsing your videos, your live TV through a cable card, an AM FM tuner, and so on. So let's just kind of play through this a little bit. So we got the little animated spinner here. Go to the Display Control Panel Settings tab and reduce the primary monitor's screen size. It's 2021, y'all. Why would anybody do that? Okay, so click Next to begin. Next again. Now we're waiting again. So Windows Media Center checks components like networking and internet connection, which we know internet works. Optional setup, you can set up the features. Oh, I didn't read it fast enough. We will not join this program because it likely doesn't exist. Sure, periodically download stuff. I'm actually going to skip all that. There's no TV tuner being passed into the virtual machine or anything like that, so we won't have those things to choose from. No radio tuner as well, so we unfortunately can't test that, but this was a very slick interface back in the day, even compared to today's options for browsing media content on your TV. Everything just looks better. It's easier to navigate with a keyboard or a remote control, and it still had additional features. Let's see if online media does anything. I think that's one of the things that it asked me to set up in the setup, but I did not do, so we'll just exit out of that. Okay, the update manager for Windows Media Center Store has stopped working. I wonder why. Let's see, we've already taken a look at Windows Media Player. Windows Photo Gallery is likely just what you would expect, but it unfortunately does not load. We have a Windows security alert. Let's take a look at that. So automatic updating is not configured. Yep, we know that already. And no virus protection is installed. So Windows Live Messenger download, which goes to OneDrive. Did you notice the information bar? Yes, it's very annoying. So of course it was noticed. Windows DVD Maker is pretty cool. Or at least back in the day it was. Now computers don't really have DVD drives, so there's a built-in calendar where you can subscribe to internet calendars, which is kind of neat. Standalone version of Outlook, I suppose, or at least the calendar portion of it. Windows Meeting Space was something I never used, but it's kind of nifty to have. The little context menu says share files, a program, or your desktop, anytime, anywhere. Let's go to Windows Mail. I think that's the last thing that has not been checked here, at least from the list of default apps. Which is not really much to check out because I don't have my email account set up here. But here's a sample email. It's like any other desktop email client. You could delete, reply, create new emails, and so on. Oh, it looks like it comes with some email themes. So let's go to stars and see what that looks like. Okay. Yeah, let's not ever look at that again. But let's go and take a look at green bubbles. Oh, wow. If you send this to your corporate coworkers, might as well add the CEO to the email too and send that background. You'll be promoted immediately. There's also a contacts app. Here's my contacts. My name is VM. What else do we have? Windows Defender was the malware scanner, which has now evolved into a virus software as well, I believe. Windows Movie Maker, we already looked at that. Let's take a look at Windows Update. Oh no, we can't because for some reason none of that wants to load. Let's go to Task Manager and see if anything is just hanging. Maybe we can restart some of it and get some of those things to load. Which the Windows 11 Task Manager tells you when something is not responding, which this does not. Look, we're only down to 1.2 gigs of virtual memory used. So again, compared to Windows XP, Windows Vista did use more RAM, but as long as you had enough available, the overall experience is pretty slick and solid, I thought. The 1 gig machine that I mentioned earlier, I eventually upgraded to 2, and that made the experience much better. Here's a command prompt. We could do something like ping google.com. Works as you would expect. What else do we have under the accessories menu? We've got Paint again. We've already seen that. Connect to a network projector. Remote desktop. I was going to connect to the PC I'm using, but then we would get stuck in a loop, I think. The run box, which is Windows key plus R. The Snipping Tool. I actually didn't know about this feature back in the day. I didn't really know about this until Windows 8 and Windows 10. So it's kind of neat to see where this started. You can scribble if you wanted to, and this is pretty much exactly how it was until the latter days of Windows 10. And now Windows 11, it changed to be kind of nice, I think. Here we have a sound recorder. I don't know what kind of audio files this saves, but let's just record 5 seconds of nothing and see what it does. Oh, it does WMA audio. No option for WAV files, so that's no good. Sync Center, Welcome Center still doesn't work. Windows Sidebar is there now. Here's WordPad. If you wanted a very basic built-in Word document / processor. Windows Anytime Upgrade in case you wanted to go to Windows Vista Ultimate. We've got narrator, on-screen keyboard. These things haven't... Okay, I was just about to say that these things haven't changed much, but this has changed a lot, especially in Windows 11. It's more like one of your smartphone touch keyboards that have been very modernized in Windows 11. Have no idea what this is supposed to say. It's just a bunch of headers stacked on top of each other. What else do we have? Windows Marketplace probably goes to another dead page. Microsoft probably tracks the visits to these old broken redirects, and they probably assume that everybody who tries to access it these days are just messing around with it in a virtual machine like we are right now. System Tools, I missed that one. Let me just open this as a standalone folder. Oh, but it's missing several options. So let's just go back here. Backup status and configuration. So you can back up and restore some files if you wanted to. We've got disk defrag, which today you don't really need to do anymore as long as you're using an SSD that supports trim, which is pretty much all of them. Sysinfo, here we are. Here's the version of our virtual BIOS. Next up, we have, I don't know, the task scheduler. That's pretty straightforward. Windows Easy Transfer, System Restore, I think doesn't exist anymore, at least in newer versions of Windows. Also some tablet PC options. We've already looked at the games, none of which will open except for Inkball. Not even Minesweeper, so that's a little unfortunate. Windows Remote Assistance was kind of a convenient tool to have if somebody needed to remote into your PC to troubleshoot some stuff. And that is pretty much it. I can't go to a number of different features for some reason. I just don't know what's going on, and I don't really want to spend too much time looking at that. I can't even change my wallpaper right now. Actually, yes, I could. Let's go and find the directory where the wallpapers are stored and see what all we have. Here are the default wallpapers. I would like to bring up... Okay, so it has the the details bar along the bottom of the Explorer window instead of on the right sidebar. So here is the default Aero Glass one, 1920 by 1200. That's a pretty decent resolution for a built-in wallpaper back in the day. Let me make this window smaller and we can go ahead and see what some of these look like on our desktop, which again, unfortunately does not have the Windows Aero interface enabled. I did actually rotate, when I used Vista back in the day, between some of the default wallpapers, the Aero Glass one, the one that we're looking at now. Is there any metadata here? I butchered the pronunciation. Metadata is what I meant. So no information on where this photo was taken, but let's switch to this one and see what it looks like. Not a big fan of that one. That one's pretty nice. Let's see, here we are with an underwater photo. Let's take a look at this one. The red flower looks pretty. This would look a lot better if the taskbar was semi-transparent like it is with the Aero. You can tell these are actual news items in the sidebar here. Genshin Impact. COVID-19 stuff that was on the first page. Anywho, let's switch to this one. This one is not a widescreen photo. It's only 1920 by 1440, so it does have the pillars on the left and right side. And of course, you would be able to go into the display settings and have it so that it either stretches or it zooms to fill. None of these are wide anymore. Here's a city of some sort. Yeah, and these were pretty nice. I enjoyed these wallpapers way back when. And before I go, let me try to go to YouTube inside of Internet Explorer. Of course, the entire thing froze. I had to stop the page from loading. We will continue and see how far we get. Looks like we're just going to get stuck in a... Oh, here we are. Please update your browser. Your browser is not supported anymore. Let's try Google Chrome. Can that be installed? In Vista, if it's anything like XP, the newer versions of Chrome, Firefox, and others do not work. You actually have to go back to an even older version, which doesn't support the latest web standards. So even that, web pages won't load correctly. Let's go ahead and download the Chrome setup and see if it works. I'm not even sure which version it's going to download. It could be the latest version that's available for Windows 11. Oh, the batteries in my keyboard died, but it looks like the installer is downloading. In the meantime, I'm going to plug it in. All right, keyboard is back and Chrome is installed. It says this will no longer receive Google Chrome updates because XP and Vista are no longer supported. What version did it install? Version 49 dot something. Let me Google that and see which or what the release date was that. I have never seen this error before. Your clock is ahead. As far as I can tell, it is not. But maybe that's part of the whole unsupported thing. Oh, we'll rely on Bing, I guess. So 49.0.2623.112 was released possibly 2016. So just over 5 years ago, this was released. And we're on Chrome 95. Interesting. So let's try and go to YouTube this time. Nope, same error. I have never seen this before. And of course, because my control panel items won't load. Oh, this loaded. So if the computer is ahead, what if I go back by a minute and see if that helps? That is super weird. Because if I go back to Bing and just type in the time, it's 9:36 p.m. That's correct. I set the clock back a minute, so it's still 9:35. Let's change this to 9:33 p.m. and see what it does. It still says the clock is ahead, so I have no idea what's happening. I just think that's due to an old version of Chrome being here, but Bing is still loading. Interesting. Let's go to msn.com and see what that looks like. Okay, I give up. I've had all the fun I can have here. So that's pretty much it. I'm still disappointed I can't get everything working. I kind of want to, but I also don't at the same time. But hopefully this was enough to look at for this video, which is now hitting almost 1 hour of recording time. I'll cut this up as much as I can to make sure it's not quite as long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there are any other operating systems you guys would like me to take a look at inside of a virtual machine, I'll be happy to do so. If there are any comments, questions, or feedback about this or anything else, feel free to leave everything down below in the comments area. Again, that's it with the video, so thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Let's do a shutdown together.